Hey guys, I hope y'all are having a great day. Today I wanted to tell you a tale of a murder most foul. And you may question, you may ask, how foul? It's pretty doggone foul, let me tell you. But the guy who committed the murder is also one of my favorite painters, and he is the poster boy of the rock star lifestyle that we have even to this day. I mean, this guy makes some modern day rock and rap star rage machines that just seem tame. But before I get into that, Eagle's over here. Let me give y'all a little. There's Eagle. She's asleep. She was up just a little bit ago, running around. She wanted so many pets and stuff. But of course, the moment the camera starts rolling, it's nap time. But you know, you've got to have your priorities in life, though. Am I right? So she's got her priorities set, and I want to show you guys this. This is the coffee cup for the day, and look at this little guy. And he's sweet. Better not drink too much, little buddy. Anyway, oh, that's hot. That's really yummy. Oh my goodness. So happy. All right, on to our story for the day. I'm so excited about this one. But before I get into this, though, let me set the scene, because this little story takes place back in history a little bit. So let me help you brush up just a tiniest bit. It'll take a couple minutes. But so if you're not familiar, if you haven't thought about Baroque painting in a while, it's painting that began in around 1600. So just think Shakespeare's time, in Baroque. So like, if you think about the way Shakespearean language, like I love Shakespeare plays, but when you're in there for a little bit, if you haven't been in one in a while, you think, wow, this speech is kind of weird, kind of sounds Baroque. Baroque painting is at the same time. I know that's a horrible pun, but it's so bad that you might actually, it actually helps you remember because it's such a bad pun. But around 1600 is when Baroque painting began. It's when it started, and this is when drama was really happening. I mean, like, when you think of Shakespeare plays and all this, in plays and movies and things today, we think about it being a certain way. It wasn't always that way. This is really the time in the 1600s when the drama started being created in the way that we know it today. This high drama and stuff. So that ripples effect, the ripple effect goes on to today. Like the reality programming that we have, like shows like the Desperate Housewives of wherever, they didn't come from nowhere. They were born in this sort of high drama sort of thing. So high drama as art was maybe not created at this time, but it was certainly thrown into the spotlight. And that spotlight, when it comes to painting, was known as chiaroscuro. Think of a lone actor on a darkened stage with a single spotlight coming down. High drama, high contrast. And the best chiaroscuro painter of all time, at least in my opinion, was this guy, Caravaggio. Oh my goodness, I love this guy. Would I want to go and hang out with him? go pub hopping or whatnot with him? I don't know. Maybe before midnight. I don't know. After midnight, things start getting a little cagey, I think, as we're going to see. But oh my goodness. So before the Baroque time was the Renaissance paintings and stuff. So it's a Renaissance time, and the Renaissance was known more for like before the drama. So if you think of Michelangelo's David. So, it's this statue. He's in sort of a relaxed pose in a bit. He's got a sling over his shoulder. He's about to have the fight with Goliath. So it's before the drama. In Baroque painting, as we can see, like in one of Caravaggio's paintings, it's actually right at the pinnacle of the drama, at the height of it. This painting is Judith beheading Holofernes. This was painted in 1599. Let's see. He was born in 1571, so he was like in his late 20s or so, when he did this. If you don't know this story, just really quick, this is back in biblical times. And Holofernes, he was this general, and he was going against Nebuchadnezzar. Judith was a widow, and I don't know if she snuck into like Holofernes' camp, but she seduced him. She's like, "Hey, hello, handsome," and then later that night, she cut off his head. But Nebuchadnezzar won, so it all turned out good, I guess, for the good guys. I don't know, but anyway, the whole point of this though is that Caravaggio's capturing it in the Baroque style of right in the middle of the action and all that, in the most dramatic part. So anyway, that's a quick history of Baroque paintings. So there. Now, Caravaggio, this guy is a nut. He's just he was always in trouble. Like, he went to trial at least 11 times that we know about. That's just what we know about. And of course, this is a long time ago, so he might have went a lot more than we don't. But he was arrested for carrying a sword without a permit. This happened a lot. Now, this guy, he loved his swords. And remember this because it's a bit of a recurring theme in his life. Swords come back quite a bit. He also wrote libelous poems about a man named Baglione. Now, who's Baglione? This is Baglione. And remember this guy. He's going to be important later as well. And so Caravaggio, he wrote poems about Baglione. Like, big deal. Like, that doesn't sound like it's such a bad thing. Well, the reason they were bad. They were really bad. Like, they were saying that this guy's paintings just should be used as toilet paper. Of course, it was much more crass language than that, much more crass, and that they should be put in different places where the sun doesn't shine and all kinds of stuff. And, but he circulated the poetry in parts of town where like in the art districts and stuff. So all of the different people would see it and stuff, you know, like the artists and the art collectors and all that sort of fun stuff. So and it was so bad that Caravaggio actually had to go to prison for 2 weeks for this. Oh my goodness! But he did lots of things. Some of it was kind of serious. Some of it not so much. Like he had to go to court once because he threw a plate of artichokes in a waiter's face. He threw stones at policemen. I can just imagine walking down the street with Caravaggio. And him start chucking stones at policemen. He cursed at policemen, got in a lot of trouble for that. He offended a woman and a daughter, had to go to court for that. I don't know what he did to offend them, but it must have been pretty serious for him to end up in court. Now, a lot of these types of things, they happen at around 2 or 3 in the morning. Now, did I mention that this guy's a drinker? He could put it away. Caravaggio invented the original gangster rock star lifestyle. Rock star lifestyle. I can't talk. You know what? I might need more coffee. He went to court once because he didn't pay his rent for 6 months. But just tear places up. He wounded himself once by just falling on his own sword. Just the sword. You know, he should have just stayed away from swords. I think he would have been a lot better if he had just stayed away. But anyway, for the main event. The murder. All right, and that brings us to May 1606, when he killed Ranuccio Tomassoni. Now, historians have thought about it, and they theorized that it was over a tennis match. I don't know. Well, like, did there used to be tennis hooligans or something? Was that a thing? Like, I don't know. But now it's thought that they were probably fighting over a prostitute named Felice Melandroni. Now, here's the thing. It's not so much, I mean, it is that Caravaggio killed him, and that's not disputed. Like, he definitely killed him. But it was the way that he killed him. It's just, it's hard to even, I don't, anyway, I'll just get out with it. Okay. They think Tomassoni was killed because Caravaggio was trying to castrate him. Anyway, that's what the barber surgeon said. Barber surgeon. That's another thing that's where it comes to. You think, what? That's a weird title. Who has that? Remember, this was a time when if you needed to go see a doctor, you just went to your hairstylist, sort of. So I guess you'd walk in and say, you know, I think just a trim, and if you could remove that pesky appendix while you're at it, that'd be great. Anyway, I don't know. The barber surgeon said that Tomassoni bled out through his femoral artery in his groin. So weird, yeah. But was Caravaggio just having another drunk, crazy night that just went a little more off the rails than normal? Definitely. But it might have been more than that too. Because this was in time in history, and also the place in Rome and Italy in this area, where different wounds meant different things. So if a man harmed your reputation, you would give him a cut on the face. He defaced you, so you'd return the favor. It was a literal sort of thing. And remember that, because this is going to be important later as well. If you insulted a man's woman, he might try to castrate you. Tit for tat, or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, So could it be that Caravaggio was actually trying to defend her honor? Was this guy, was he being like abusive? Was he being I don't know, mean? Was he out of order? I don't know. Was Caravaggio actually the good guy in this whole scenario? Nobody knows. I don't know. Probably not. I don't know. But maybe. Could be. He's a great painter. Did I ever say that? So all the stuff he did some painting in his off time. He did some painting amongst all this sort of stuff. At any rate, why ever Caravaggio did it, the Pope was having none of it, and he gave Caravaggio the death sentence. And imagine, just imagine messing up so bad that out of all the people on earth, the Pope looks at you and says, "This guy has got to go." But Caravaggio, he did a lot of work for the church, like other prominent artists at the time. So the Pope probably just didn't want him to make the church look bad. I don't know, because the Spanish Inquisition they had going on at the time was such a lighthearted, feel-good romp, I guess. Anyway, you wouldn't want to spoil that. So, anyway, Caravaggio, in his very best impression of a cartoon roadrunner, he's like, beep, beep, I'm out of there. And he's off. Like, he leaves Rome. He leaves Italy. He's gone. He's out of there. So he cleans up his act, right? Well, no. He does try. But nothing could keep this party boy down. He did keep up his career of painting, but also fighting. So he painted a lot, fought a lot. Now, in 1608, he attacked a knight monk or monk knight. It was a weird time, but Frater Giovanni Rodamonte Roero, he was one of the most senior knights in the Order of St. John in Malta. Now, these were like monks that were also like soldiers, like they were knights. Like, it was probably a bad guy to pick a fight with. But anyway, he picked the fight. He ended up going to prison. But then he escapes prison and he goes to Naples. So Caravaggio, imagine this. He's one of the biggest painters in the land. He's famous. His paintings are amazing. People love him. But he just can't stay out of trouble. He's like, he's like a rock star today, where the tabloids are just following him around and all this sort of stuff. But they can't just seem to get things together. And the Pope wants him dead. So, he flees. Gosh, can you imagine if that happened today? The Pope wanting somebody just dead and sending people out to get him. And then he gets sent to prison, escapes prison. I mean, it's just, this would make such a great movie. Anyway, he goes to Naples, and Roero found him and cut him on the face. Remember that whole thing about, like you mess with somebody's honor or whatever, you get disfigured? So Roero, he disfigured his face. Okay, now it's 1610. And it actually looks like the Pope might grant him a pardon. So he's heading back to Rome to push that along. And he sends his paintings. Like, he's been doing all these paintings. He's really been sending a lot of stuff to the church. Like, saying, "Oh, let me back. I'll be a good boy, I promise," and all this. So he has all these paintings. He's going to kind of buy his way back into the good graces. They're worth a lot, And so that he puts him on the boat and all that. And somehow the boat sails without him. So, he's like, oh my goodness, all my stuff is gone, so he's trying to get across the land to get to the ship, like to meet it somewhere. And then along that trip, he dies. So they're not sure why he died. It could have been a fever. It could have been lead poisoning from the paint he used. Lots of lead in the paints at that time. In fact, they think they found his body, and it's full of lead. Like, the lead poisoning is really high. Or it could have been an infected sword wound. Apparently, he got lots of sword wounds, whether self-inflicted, falling on it or not. So anyway, but he dies. So he's definitely dead. Now, let me go back. Okay. Remember this guy? Okay, Baglione. This is the guy that Caravaggio said that he should wipe his own bottom with his paintings. His artwork should be toilet paper. This guy writes the very first biography of Caravaggio. So most of what we know is coming from Baglione. And he's actually like, if you read about it, like, he praises his early work and all that. It's kind of nice. But then he definitely goes into the guy's character and all that kind of stuff. But, it's funny. I mean, it would be like if the Joker wrote Batman's biography. Or like if a vegan gave a review of a new steakhouse down the street or something, It's just opposite ends of the spectrum. I don't know. I think it's kind of funny in a way. But it makes you wonder if the history we're getting is a little circumspect, But of course, there are lots of records, so we know that Caravaggio wasn't a saint, but he was definitely a drinker, a fighter, a guy who tried to castrate. And he did some painting in his spare time. But oh my goodness. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that story. I love Caravaggio. He's such an interesting guy. And if you didn't enjoy it, at least hope you found it interesting. But I want to thank you guys for spending this time with me. And I hope you have a good rest of the day. I'll talk to you soon, guys. Bye-bye.